Hi, I'm Samantha Rojas and this is my final project, my video essay for activity 10. For this video essay, we will be focusing on some initial words which are peace and well-being. According to Merriam-Webster, peace is the state of tranquility or quiet, such as freedom of civil disturbance, a state of security or order within a community provided by law, and well-being is a state of being happy, healthy, or prosperous. Before starting with this video essay, I'll give you a little context of one of the historic events I'll be using during this project. The event I'll talk about is the Tlatelolco Massacre, which was an event in Mexico in 1968, which was a huge massacre made by the government against the university students. The first thing I want to talk about is the media. The media shapes the way societies define their thoughts and ideas. Such can be their definition of peace, well-being, and health, by altering the way people may access to their information. Today, social media is the main source where young people can shape their thoughts and their principles. And you may ask, how does it happen? Well, in social media, we're exposed to many different ideas of many different people, which means we have the space to be able to define and choose what we believe more. During the 20th centuries, there were various advances, especially in the technological area. According to New Mexico School, during the Mexican Miracle in 1954, the increase of mobility in people was an extreme change in people's ideas and perspectives. Through time, many new technologies came, and with them, new types of campaigns where they, little by little, start changing people's ideas about peace. Also, with the creation of different services such as IMSS for help and more stable economic for peace, and much more. With media and new technologies, individuals define what they think. And with that can only be fully realized when communities come together to seek justice and collective solutions. My second point for this essay is when people actively participate in their community, there's a completely change in the way people achieve peace and well-being. An example of this was the United Nations after the Second World War. The UN created an International Court of Justice, which, as their name says, helps countries to reach justice in the most peaceful way possible. A great way they found to achieve peace was the creation of memorials, to make them awareness of the difficult events the world has been in. So, for this case, I'll use the example of the memorial I did, which was of the Tlatelolco Massacre. My team and I decided that the best way to represent the people was with hands, many different hands representing many different people. We can say that these values are not just local, they are also deeply global. That's why understanding global events helps us explain how peace and justice must go hand to hand across borders. My third point for this is that global peace, social justice, and personal well-being are deeply interconnected, as globalization allows the positive and negative impacts of the world system to influence people's daily lives. A good example for this was the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. According to Norway University, the former Soviets adapted to capitalism and democracy, which allowed citizens to gain personal well-being after this separation. But this made many people suffer of economic instability, corruption, and more things. As we can see, the collapse of the Soviet Union is completely related on how peace efforts and economic models may consider social justice to support personal well-being. And we can see that even those countries, after this transition, had a better social protection. It shows that true peace requires justice and inclusion. For our class of creativity, we made a short film. My short film was teamwork with Priscilla, and it was about finding peace in a loud environment. We can see that the strongest example is the Cold War, from 1947 to 1991. This period marked an extreme tension between different parts from the Soviet Union and the USSR, which first they started with wars, but at the end needed to search for a more diplomatic way to solve things, such as treaties. This example completely reflects the message of my film, which is when even things look bad or when even things are loud, there's always a peaceful and more conscious way of making peace in the world, or with your own. So, at the end, I can say that to promote peace and well-being in our community, we would combine many things such as personal reflection, community engagement, and global awareness. Social media and technologies shape the way we understand peace and health, but they can also spread misinformation. Community efforts, such as the creation of the UN, show that justice builds peace. Through this requirement, the participation is trust. Globally, the collapse of the Soviet Union proves how social justice, personal well-being, even if the process is difficult. Finally, my short film and the Cold War taught me that the peace starts within, even with noise, 10 times. And the only thing we need to do is prove better and make things better and search peace in any way possible. True peace comes from acting with empathy. Even in your small house, even in your school, this will make a change in the world. And this is the end of this project. Thank you so much for all this year.